sometimes I wouldn't be able to release the dart and I'd be hitting close to 25 balls, and literally from that moment I got swelling on the top of my hand, up my arm, and then it was just the fingers as well to go with it. And then I've had it was an absolute shocking year, and it was not very good having to go to the Pro Tours and then hoping to win just one game each day. I'm happy with a lot of the stuff I've done, but I just want more, I suppose.
Hello, welcome along to the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series, where we delve into the lives and careers of some of the stars of the sport of darts. And today we've got Lee Evans with us in the studio. No funny business as he joins me and Nico here for a little chat about things. First of all, how are things at the minute? Because obviously it's been well documented that the injury problems you've had, and then kind of going and getting surgery and then coming back. How are things at the minute?
Well, I thought they were going really well, to be fair, before I started off this week. It's been a bit of a struggle, but like my game's been coming back really well, like since the surgery. Like it did take a bit of a while to obviously like loosen up and just get a bit of confidence back playing again. But I was expecting a bit more this weekend, but I'll hopefully like get it all done today. Really, it'll be a hard job, but I can do it.
But let's talk through the process then. In terms of, first of all, when did the injury begin to flare up for yourself?
Oh well. Been years, to be fair. Like even when we played down in Southampton, it was still struggling then with it. Like sometimes I wouldn't be able to release the dart and I'd be hitting close to 25 balls. And it was only in January, went to Q school, that I was playing a game and I was playing Andy Bolton and I nearly hit the chalker's foot going for the treble 20. So it wasn't that long ago. I couldn't even reach the board sometimes. So it's definitely an improvement.
So when did the surgery take place for those that kind of...
6th of Feb is when I had it done. So it was about 8 weeks, at least 8 weeks to 10 weeks, like recovery time, like having like bandages and all that around it. And I think it took me about, I think it was 12 weeks before I threw my first dart again. And it was like a bit of a struggle to start with. And you start panicking, thinking, is it ever going to come back anywhere near as good as it did? But it is slowly getting there, but this is like the biggest thing I've thrown in since I have had it done. And I'm a bit hard on myself, really. I think I've not done too badly, but I still want to win everything. I still want to do a lot better than I have done.
Injuries aren't nice, eh?
No, they're horrible. And there's this culture within our sport that people constantly play through them until they physically can't throw a dart at the board anymore. I've spoken about Yellow Klassen many times. He was in the Premier League, and his wrist was so bad at the end of the last week that it went black and blue. And he physically couldn't throw a dart for weeks after that because he just had to go into surgery. And I suppose because of the way we're trying to support each other through, tough times and support ourselves, because some people have to work really, really hard to get some money from this sport. We just take it to that degree where we might take it a bit too far. I've got a problem with my left shoulder that keeps coming back. Luckily, that doesn't affect certain aspects of my life, but I can sympathise with Lee, because when Lee says that he knows he can do it, but physically it's not quite there, I can sympathise, because in our heart and our minds, we think we can do it, but our physicality doesn't allow us to do it.
Is that the difficult thing then, deciphering what the brain thinks it can do and what the body's saying it can do?
It is, because there's a lot of people that will go around and say it's all in your head, and like if you concentrate a bit more, you'll be able to do it, and that's totally wrong. Like I think I'm quite easygoing with how I can normally play, but I did really well about 2 years ago, even with the injury. I got onto the tour, did a good first year, got to Players, got to the Worlds, and then it was that second year. I can remember it going in January on my second year on the tour, and literally from that moment, I got swelling on the top of my hand, up my arm, and then it was just the fingers as well to go with it. And then I've had it was an absolute shocking year, and it was not very good having to go to the Pro Tours and then hoping to win just one game each day to make up your money to try retaining that card. And it was just that little dodgy bit where, do I have the surgery during the Pro Tour season and then risk having about 5 months off, and then maybe at the end of the year, maybe doing just enough to keep it? Or did I just struggle on like I did because I needed the points just to stay in that top 64? And unfortunately, it just after the Worlds, I was in 63rd in the world, and after the Worlds, obviously not being in it, there was about 6 people jumped me right at the end. So it was really like difficult decision of when to get it done, if to get it, like what time to get it done as well. So that was a pain.
In hindsight, do you feel like you made the correct decision?
I don't know, but I'm glad I've got it done now. Like it feels loads better, no pain. Don't get the pins and needles at all now. Then obviously everything else goes with it, all the stress of not being able to play properly. Like, I didn't practice for about 3 years, really. I was doing one day at home or one day in the pub, and then I'd have a day or two off just to give my wrist a bit of a break. And as you know, this week I've played every day and sometimes twice a day.
So was it like kind of a sharp shooting pain that you were getting? So what was the actual, like, in terms of the hand, what was the actual pain that you were physically feeling when throwing?
So all in my fingers, it was just numb, pins and needles out in some fingers, in finger and thumb, and then the rest of it was just not being able to bring my hand back just for the release. Before, when it was bad, it was just dead straight. I couldn't even bend it back or anything. So I was putting more effort into like my arm, the shoulder was coming into play as well. And that was just like changing my throw. Like my darts would actually go in the board a different angle to what they should be. My darts normally kick to the right, but with my wrist, they were kicking to the left. So when they were kicking to the left, tops and tens became my best doubles, which 32 and 8 should be my best ones. Well, they always have been throughout my career. So it was literally changing my routes around the actual leg as well to go with it. So I was going tops and tens like for the last couple of years, which were really benefiting me sometimes. But now I'm back to going 32s and 8s all the time.
You're nodding your head. You can kind of relate a lot to this, can't you?
Yeah, quite a lot. I had a wrist injury in 2015, and I remember coming back from a few days off, and I started throwing at the board. My first dart hit the floor. I thought, something's wrong here. So wrist injuries are not nice. And when a wrist injury comes in, Lee's absolutely right. In order to compensate for what is going on, other parts of the body try to do it for you, and it's usually the shoulder, and sometimes it's the side of the body. So you throw it at the board, and your throw completely changes. He's made the right decision. Getting surgery and just giving it time to heal may yield a longer career. Sometimes we have to step back and say, right, if I don't fix this, my career's over. Now, because it has been fixed, rehab it properly and then get back to where you want to be in the future. But the culture in this sport is delaying it too much because of the way it is. It's a self-employed business. We don't play for teams. We don't have wages when you're injured. If you don't play, you don't get paid. It's a really tough choice.
Let's talk about the career so far. How would you sum up your playing career, some of the things you've done, some of the things that you've achieved up to press?
Well, I'm not really sure. Like, I think I've not done as well as what I really should have done by now, really. But obviously, I'll put a lot of that down to the wrist injury, because when was it we was at Southampton? That must have been 4 years ago.
2022, wasn't it, I think?
No, 3 years ago. So I was still having that same problems then. So the last 3 years, it's just been a bit of a struggle. But before that, like I was doing really well around the local areas, the open comps, and I've done okay on like challenge tours, but obviously like they're very, very long days, and that could have been a bit a part of my wrist slowly like getting worse and worse over the years coming into that, doing a long day. Like they were the killers all the time, doing them like 2 events in a day sometimes. But I'm happy with a lot of the stuff I've done, but I just want more, I suppose.
When you say you've underachieved, what particularly do you mean by that?
Well, it took me a long time to get a tour card as well, which, like, I love doing all this sort of stuff, but I really just want to get back on the tour as well. I'd rather just do the tour, be playing with the big boys again, to be fair. Like, it took me, well, I think it was like 6 or 7, 8 attempts to get a tour card, but I've always been missing out by like maybe a game or 2 or maybe a point on getting a tour card. But when I finally did it, I did it quite comfortably, to be fair. And after that, I just thought I'd kick on, but then obviously the wrist like came into play, and I think if my wrist hadn't been, I think I'd have been cruising like top 64, not a problem. But I'd like to do I don't do many other events apart from PDC stuff really, because once I've got used to that sort of format, sort of arenas, that's what I want to keep doing now. I don't want to take a step back. So
Difficult thing is, when you've had a dose of Ali Pali playing the world #1, you don't really want to do anything else. You want to be in that arena. You want to be able to. You want to go up against the best. And the funny thing is, I can totally sympathise with how Lee is speaking about this, because when you've had a dose of playing the best and you trouble the best, you want to keep doing it. It's as simple as that. In order to actually move forward, what he's got to do now, he's got to take that step back and actually look at the grander picture. But I like the way he's talking. I like the fact that he still wants to do it, but he wants to do it pain-free, and he wants to do it with a new perspective. And that is very, very dangerous.
Speak about that experience of the World Championship. Let's talk about that. What was it like, Ali Pali, that first game against Sandro Sozink?
Well, that one was quite enjoyable, to be fair, because I didn't know a lot about him, but I felt very confident about winning that game, to be fair. And when I went up there, everyone said, "Oh, was you nervous?" I was further from the truth. I was nowhere near nervous, but I was that confident I was going to win. I sort of relaxed a bit. I was watching the crowd between, when I was walking back, I can listening to them chanting certain songs, some of the stuff they might sing. But yeah, that first game was really enjoyable, and I actually took it all in, to be fair. And it probably did all right for the next time I was up there, because I was only up there a day later against Luke, and it was another one where I just didn't feel the pressure too much, because obviously being the underdog against him, it was like a free shot. I know him very well. We have played a couple of times before in just local things, maybe county and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just it was a great experience. But obviously, if I'd have won maybe one more game, if I'd have beat Luke or had a different draw and could got that second round win, I might have still had my card as well at the end of it as well, which is a really annoying thing as well. But yeah, Ali Pali was brilliant, but I don't really get the nerves to let it all get on top of me, really. So it was just really enjoyable.
Fair to say Luke handed you one?
He did, but well, if it wasn't for me and missing all them doubles, he wouldn't have been world champion, would he? So
I love that attitude, because I think there's a nice bond between these two. You could see at the end of the game that they were ready to have a dust up, but at the end of it, it was right, okay, we're pals again. And that's the way it should be, really. There's a lot of people that you play in this sport, and you really, really want to beat them. And at the end, you almost forget that you have respect for these people. But it was actually very refreshing at the end of that game to see that they were willing to have a dust up, but at the end, they're still pals.
I get the sense you're a very old school type player, that you give it absolute everything when you're up there, but before and after, yeah, respect for all the rest of it. But when we're up there, it's an absolute free-for-all. I'm gunning for you.
The smiles now are a bit of a, I hate losing. I can't stand it. But yeah, to be fair, if someone dusts me up and plays brilliant, I'll shake their hand and say, well done there, because sometimes you just get beat by the better guy. This week, it's been a bit frustrating. It's just, I find that I've missed loads of doubles at crucial times as well, even if it's just to nick a leg I didn't even deserve sometimes. I have been getting these chances. People have been letting me in all week in just odd certain legs where I could make it a 2 each rather than going 3-1 down and stuff like that. And I just need to clean up a bit of my game at the moment, because it is still a bit rusty, but I know it's going to be after being out for a few months and then trying to just get it going again. But I want it now, and I want to get back to it very, very quickly. So it's one of them. It's going to be a long, drawn out one, because apparently it still could be I'm doing all the therapy for it still, even back in the hotel, just doing all the exercises and wrist movements, and I've got all my scar tissue gels and everything to keep putting on every morning, every night, and I just got to get through all this, and then hopefully by the end of the year, come Q school again, I'll be ready 100% or close to it anyway to go again.
Have won a challenge tour in your career. It was a long time ago now, 2017. Yeah. What are your memories of that?
I remember 3 darts.
Oh, great. This is going to be a very long conversation.
I
then.
remember 3 darts. I can remember a couple of guys winning on, beating on the way. I think, because I think it was 2017 I done it.
Yeah.
And there was people like, I don't think I played them on that same day, but there was people like Humphreys was in it, Aspinall was there, Ryan Searle was there. So there were some massive names back then, but the one I remember beating was, in the 3 darts I remember hitting, was against Kev Dowling.
That's because you beat him in the final.
4 each, and I took out 90 to beat him 5-4. It was 2020 ball. That was probably one of the only times I've proper celebrated a game as well. I don't celebrate games very often, but I definitely did that time. I think it was only like a fist bump or something, but I very rarely even do that.
It's amazing how many times dart players don't remember what they've just done because they're so zoned out in game mode that there's this wave of relief when you finish the job. I can say from my career that I don't remember many shots that I hit to win titles because you're so in the moment, and that's a strong mindset. You'd rather not remember it and have the trophy than constantly walk around saying, well, this is what I missed because I was too focused on certain other things. If you get into that numb sort of autopilot mode, you can be really, really good at this sport. It's something that is very hard to find, but when you can repeat that, you can be very, very good.
Finally, what does the future look? Or does a lot of that depend on how the hand...
I think that's fine now, to be honest. I think that'll be absolutely fine for, well, hope touch wood, for a long time. But it went very well for what the doctor said, what I feel like. I think it's done really, really, the surgery's gone very well. So I'm very confident I can get back to playing better than what I did when I had my tour card. I think I can get better than that by quite a while, quite a way, to be fair. So I'm very confident I'll be back playing pro tours eventually, hopefully next year, but there's still a long time till next year, so we've still got half the year to go just to like prep, make sure you do everything right, get your back practicing all the time now as well, like going out nearly every night, whereas before I probably play once a week, like for the last 2 or 3 years. So I've got everything to gain now.
Great to see you in top form. Great to see the hand going well as well. Great to see you pain-free, injury-free. Lee, thank you so much as ever.
Cheers.
Nico, thank you so much as ever. Thank you for watching the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series.